Good day, everyone. We are the Group 4, and this is our topic, which is the managing outsourcing transitions. Transition management is a critical phase in BPO engagement where the responsibility for these processes is handed over the client, which is the internal team, to the outsourcing provider. Transition manager is a leadership role responsible for overseeing the end-to-end handover of business processes from the client organization to the outsourcing vendor. So because of the nature of the role, a transition manager needs to have a variety of skills and competencies. So we have the needs to have strong project management skills, needs to be comfortable in working in a cross-cultural environment, and needs to have a thorough understanding. So generally, there are two common strategies followed in migrating a function. These are the lift and shift, re-engineer, and migrate. So lift and shift, also known as rehost or forklift migration, is a migration strategy used during the transition phase to move processes. Lift the existing process as is and shift them to the new location, which is the onshore to offshore centers. So here we have the phase, items to consider, and also the advantages. Re-engineer and migrate refers to a transformative strategy where business processes are fundamentally redesigned before or during the migration from the client's internal setup to the vendor's environment. Handoffs are transfers of the output to a different performer on approval for further action prior to continuation. Refers to a transformative strategy where business processes are fundamentally redesigned before or during the migration from the client's internal setup to a vendor's environment. Handoffs reasons for first we have the data enrichment, the other performer adds data to a transaction. Second, quality assurance, the second performer is a checker. And third, control, approval for materiality and substance is done by a separate person.
Transition and pitfalls and risks. Okay, let's talk about transitions. Moving processes or tasks, maybe even outsourcings, it sounds great, right? But we can go wrong. Well, plenty most of the problems we see comes from those common mistakes. First, inadequate investment and sponsorship. Think of it like a planting a garden. If you don't give it enough water and sunlight, it won't grow. Same with transition. You need to put in the resources and have a leadership backing. Second, unclear scope of work. Imagine trying to build a house without blueprint. You need to know exactly what are you trying to achieve, what are you moving, what is your goals. Training shortcuts. You can just throw people into deep ends and accept them to swim. Proper training is essential. Unclear rules and responsibilities. Who's doing what? If no one knows, things will fall through the cracks. Lima is not retaining the experts. You've got a people who knows the process inside and out. Don't let them go. Keep them around to guide the transitions. Transition critical success factors. So, how do we make sure a transition succeed? It really comes down to those two things. Technology readiness. Ensure your technology, hardware, and software is prepared to support the transition. Second, manpower readiness. Ensure your staff is adequately trained and skilled for the new processes. Transition effectiveness. Financial benefits. Let's talk about money. How do you know if your transition is actually saving you money? Quantify the real cost. Before you move anything, figure out exactly what it costs you now. Your baseline cost, and then keep track of what your offshore team costs you on ongoing basis. Tracking movement costs and separately. Any cost from moving the work of the new team, track those separately as a project cost. Don't lump them with the regular expenses. Compare baseline with the correct cost. If you capture all those costs, you can compare what you used to spend with what you're spending now and see how much you're really savings. That's how you measure the effectiveness of transition. This slide is focused on how to measure the team's performance. The main idea is to create a metrics that show how well the team ongoing. Those metrics is used to go through the testing phase called baselining to make sure they reasonable and accurate. This helps set a realistic standard for performance. Document readiness. This slide emphasizes the importance of having all documentation in order. It's like inputs. Where data comes from, what is the release on? When it arrives and it's good quality, have a backup plan if the data is late or bad. Looking at old data helps you plan your work. Next, processes. Write down every step clearly, including who does what, when, and how they pass the work along. List in any reports you need to create and any when they're due also. List all the tools you use to other can do the same work. Output. Documents everything about your outputs, reports, data. Define the format, quality check, and realistic deadlines. Communication. Clearly define how you all communicate about outputs. This prevents confessions, especially for the output needs into other process. Onshore supervision. Set up onshore supervision point and checklists. Comply with the registration and ensure accountability. This helps transition to onshore control. Work shadowing. It is the term used to learn by doing activity of service provider personnel generally done at the same location as current company performers. Onshore phase. Onshore team does the work that train the service provider. Guide phase. Service provider does the work with close guidance from the onshore team. Go live phase. Service provider work the identity performance is closely monitored. Identifying the task candidates for outsourcing. Break down jobs. Divide outsourced jobs into smaller tasks. Track time. See how much the time to spend on each task, 1 to 3 months. Outsource big tasks. Focus on the tasks that take a lot of hours. Good tasks. Simple. No need special acknowledge needed. Low risk. Financial regulatory. Self-contained. Few hands off. Finite, like a well-defined puzzle. Clear start and ends. No endless rabbit holes. Documented. If you didn't write it down, it doesn't help. Process need to crystal clear. So patient of skill. Big enough to matter small one-off tasks aren't one effort. Readiness assessment is really ready to go. Don't skip this crucial check. Show me the money. Size up those potential savings. Make sure it's worth it. Start easy. Low-hanging fruits. First, bold minimum with the easy wins. Scalable talent of pool. A big pool of skilled people are ready to go. Cost. Gotta make financial sense. Excellent infrastructure. Reliable tech and accountability are must. Government support and public-private partnership. When governments are on board, things get a whole of lots smoother.
How are the inputs received? Less training for processor to start, faster growth from new hire to productive performer. Unstructured input data points to early area for process improvement. Efficiency gains from straight-through processing. Are inputs in same language as that of provider. Can communication onshore be done in same language as that used by provider? Different language adds cost in terms of language translator, specialist, and funnel effect. Is there an input data timing condition? Are the inputs received all throughout the month or do they peak on a single day period? Peaking inputs may require peak basis staffing to keep delivery target. Extra cost of peak personnel. Challenge of work scheduling to use staff during low periods. Are inputs received only on defined days? Do those days coincide with month ends? Less opportunity to do work scheduling of off-peak staff if work peaks are the same. What are the dependencies? Are dependencies documented? Output from another system process must be received first before PP input can be delivered. Which inputs are delivered by external systems, which by internal systems? How stable are the systems? Are there workarounds in case of input system failures? How accurate are the inputs? Are there based historical accuracy statistics? Can be used to justify cost of measures to improve accuracy. Input errors cost money in terms of rework. Poor quality of input means prior step to validate input must be added. How consistently delivered on time? Are there historical timeliness statistics can be used to justify investment in faster platforms in process improvements? Late inputs cost money in terms of overtime. Compressed workday burden on performers. Adequate documentation process checklist. Are the processes properly documented? Are hands-offs to other parties shown in the documentation? Are interim or flash reports documented? Are delivery time, day, or month period targets documented? Are the process properly documented? What documentation standard? Process maps are intuitive. Using a specific standard is not important. It is important that the standard is consistently used. Are workflow and other technology tools properly referred to in the document? Ideal if workflow platform is used onshore, but this is infrequent. If specific spreadsheets, access, or other end-user developed programs are used, it is important that the source code and technical documentation for the macro is shared. B. Are handoffs to other parties shown in the documentation? Clear documentation of hands-off show areas of process fragmentation. Hands-off are transfers of the task to other people before continuing. Aggregate items to review in a single sign-off step at the end. May be better to require enriched data prior to start of the process. Intelligent input template or train performer to do the data enrichment. Are interim or flash report documented? Flash reports allow onshore supervisors to do early process check. Regulatory submission deadlines are hard, hence critical outputs may need intermediate review. Ideal that the process continues without waiting, only stop by exception. D. Are delivery time, day, or month period target documented? Indication of required delivery time date important in the process documentation. Quick look at input receive and output delivery allows check of process ease and staffing requirements. Tight processing times. Shout out opportunities for required technology process improvement. How up to date is the documentation? How often is document certified? Are the live modified immediately whenever process is changed? Documentation is valuable only if up to date. Show binders are not useful. Easy to quickly assess live status of documentation. Ask performer about his process. Ask him to then point it in the documentation. What are the steps of the delivery of a process or service in contracting of a service provider? Delivery targets following define delivery objectives, define timeliness, accuracy, consistency. How? With description, documentation of how the service will be performed. Supervision. Stating the supervision process, periodic reviews, and how performance will be measured. Costs for a clearly defined cost and clearly defined bonus, penalty, award, and basis. Adequate documentation output. Considerations for output. Number 1, properly describe output. Number 2, method of transmission. 3, language of output. 4, timing of the output. 5, dependencies. Are outputs completely documented? Formats defined in key management reports down to the colors of certain data. If output is an input to another process, best that structured template is followed. Periodic changes in outputs are normal, but the change requests should be documented, cost justified, and properly approved. Adequate documentation, communication. How are the outputs to be communicated? Transmission channel has to be clearly stated. Email, file upload into MS SharePoint as input to another process in workflow or direct entry to another system. Adequate documentation, supervision. Onshore, offshore, staffing, equipment, motivation, country regulation. Where are the onshore supervision points? Some country regulations require supervisory control by an onshore person. Ownership of the output is the onshore person. In onshore exercise, who as supervisory regulations require supervisory control by an onshore person. Ownership of the output is the onshore person. In onshore exercise, who as supervisory control. In shared services, next stage of evolution is through centers of excellence where work and supervision is done in another location. Onshore processes with adequate documentation have greater readiness for offshoring. Documentation on inputs, processes, outputs, documentation, channels, and supervision allow a service provider to estimate cost of doing the service offshore with more certainty. Scale, number of employees, manning complement, head count, full-time requirement. Sufficiency of scale depends on the following: service provider, requirement of the job, client. Scale in relation to workforce. Sufficiency of scale depends on the service provider for risk management. A 15,000 FTE provider in a single location may prefer engagements of at least 500 FTEs. 5% is normal buffer of resources can be ramped up easily or absorbed in other clients when contract ends. Right scale depends on client percentage of outsourced roles to total staff for risk management and control. A 500-person finance organization may want to limit initial outsourcing to 10% or 15%. A large company with experience in outsourcing may opt to outsource the entire technology group to a provider, especially if core business is non-IT. Tips to optimize scale. If the process to be outsourced is done by only a few FTEs, full-time equivalent, it is not worth outsourcing. Example, create letter of credit, but the role is only done by one person who does everything, or one person full day plus a supervisor for 1 hour a day. Near self-contained roles have good potential for outsourcing because more FTE is covered. Complete help desk, mortgage processing from application form acceptance to credit worthiness points calculation to annotation of loan on deed to title insurance submission to recommendation for funds release. End-to-end roles are ideal. External contact can mean external to the process. Product P&L starts with transaction data download and ends with submission to regional senior management. Intermediate activities are fully done by service provider. Buyer needs sufficient FTEs in outsourced project to justify risks and executive attention. What is the amount saved? If it is too small, the cost of onshore supervision eats up the benefit. Service provider needs sufficient FTEs to justify a risk supervisor and overhead. Large and small engagements have near same overhead in support except for very large contracts. Training, improve hardware and or enhance software. Identifying task candidates for outsourcing, time tracking. Highlights tasks that occupy a lot of people's hours. Some high-volume tasks may need thorough analysis to identify specific roles. Tempting to wait and do more granular time tracking and further analysis. Be wary of analysis paralysis.